Happy Falcons Friday, y'all. It's Falcons Daily. I'm your host, CG Craig Green, the voice of dominant championship wrestling here in the mid-Atlantic area. I've got a special guest with me here today. She hasn't been here in quite a while. Tell everybody what your name is.
Harper.
That's right, Harper Green. She's got one less tooth in that mouth. Show everybody that tooth you lost. Okay, get close to the camera. Get close. Show them that tooth. There it is. For all of you listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, she lost a tooth right in the front of her mouth. She kind of looks like a hockey player right now, missing that tooth. But again, if you want to give me a follow on social media, you can find me at Craig G Sports, CRAIG, the letter G, and the word sports. FanArch, they power Falcons Daily. You can find them at FanArchCo, FANARCHCO. And also, again, big shout outs to all of our friends, Harper, who happen to be listening to us on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify as well. We are now on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so the whole world can hear Falcons Daily. They can take it with them, download it wherever they want to go. That's, so that includes you. You want to take it with you on the road? You can take it with you on the road. What do you think about that? You think you want to take Falcons Daily with you and listen to it in the car with mom? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Maybe you will, maybe you won't.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, let's take a look at the comments here real quick. We got folks chiming in, Harper, from that's Adele, Georgia, right there. Vincent Scott 3982, Adele, Georgia, rise up. And then Pamela Johnson 6480. Good morning to you, Pamela Johnson. Appreciate you checking in and checking us out here today. But we're going to talk about the Falcons schedule that has been released. We are going to talk about also other things as well that are interesting to us. The draft class. We're also going to look at some wide receivers. So we'll talk about that first. But first, we're going to talk about the Falcons schedule, okay? The Falcons schedule came out on Thursday night. And for everybody who didn't know, actually, this is episode number 296, okay? And it is May 15th, 2026. Also a very special day. It is the birthday of my late mom and Harper's late grandmother, her Nan. She would have been 82 years old today. So happy heavenly birthday up there in the big dirty bird nest in the sky. Well, she was a Cowboys fan, but still, happy birthday, Mom. We love you. We miss you. Now let's move on to what's going on with this Falcons schedule. Okay, Harper, let's take a look at that. The Falcons schedule came out on Thursday evening. They released a schedule release video. Basically, it was a remake of the This Is Sports Center videos. A lot of them pretty funny stuff. You got Jalen Walker barking at people because he's a Georgia Bulldog, saying he, bringing out the dog in him. Matt Ryan telling people in the meeting, get effing set when they weren't paying attention. You had Drake London receiving calls and getting psyched up about it. You even had a little bit of shade thrown at the Saints. You have to, of course. You had Drake over there just shooting buckets in the trash can that said Aints on it. Hilarious stuff, of course. But anyway, the schedule's out. What do you think about the Falcons schedule? Let me know in the comments. I'll tell you what I think of the Falcons schedule. And what I think of the Falcons schedule, Harper, I think that it's kind of I think it's a fair schedule when it comes to like when our bye week is and things like that, right? So, we start off on the road against Pittsburgh. We start off, our first home game is against the Panthers. We finish. Now, this is a new one for us. I mean, we are playing week 18 at the Panthers, right? That usually is a game that we don't play that late in the season. But for the Falcons, one thing I noticed is that we have the potential really for really 3 cold weather games because we play the Browns in Cleveland on December 13th. We all know it can snow out there, absolutely. We play in Washington against the Commanders up there in Washington, D.C. the very next week, right before Christmas. Then we have a game, week 18 is in Charlotte against the Panthers, and that's in January. The weather in January in North Carolina, it's unpredictable. I mean, we have, again, we're in North Carolina. We have 3.5 seasons. I mean, we don't have snow every year. We do get cold weather, so it is a potential, again, for a cold weather game, which we know is one of the Achilles heels of Tua Tagovailoa. But we're going to take a look at the schedule here real quick, Harper. And The games that you see in red, those are the games we play at home. The games that we see in black, those games are away. This game right here, the white game against the Bengals, that's week 9, 9:30 in the morning because that game is going to be played in Madrid, Spain. So you and I will be eating breakfast watching this game right there against the Bengals. But why don't you tell me what you think of the Falcons' schedule because they have 8 home games in Atlanta, they have 8 away games, and they have 1 home game in Spain. So, what do you think about the first home game this year against the Panthers? What are your thoughts, Harper?
Hold on, can you repeat? Yeah, I forgot.
What do you think about this first home game against the Panthers? That's the first game they play in Atlanta this season is against the Panthers. Do you think that's a good game to have, a bad game to have, something in the middle? Do you think it's going to be an easy game, a hard game? Whatever you think about it is what I want to know.
Okay. I think it might. I think it's gonna be a tie, maybe, but I think the score is probably gonna be like 56 to something else.
You think the Falcons will score 56 points against the Panthers? Well, we could if we can sack the quarterback like we were sacking the quarterback last year, then maybe we could. But here's the kicker: the thing of it is, Harper, we lost to the Panthers last year not once but twice. Do you think the Falcons want some revenge?
Wait, hold on.
Yep.
I think that maybe the Falcons might get 49 or something.
49 points.
Yeah.
If they scored 49 points in one game especially against the Panthers, that would make your daddy a very happy man. I think so. But when it comes to the Panthers, last year, Harper, we played them in Charlotte, right? At Bank of America Stadium. The Falcons lost that game 30-0. And then we played the Panthers again in Atlanta, and we lost that game in overtime. So they beat us 2 times. The Panthers, they're the defending NFC South champions, and we get our crack at them in our home opener on September the 20th. I feel really good about it because I think the Falcons are going to remember that they lost their chance to go to the playoffs last year by losing to this team not once but twice. Not showing up and playing a full game. You know, you talk about locking in when you play soccer. They weren't locked in all the way, and that's why they lost those games. So I'm excited for it. But the one thing that I look at here, I think the Falcons have a pretty darn tough stretch. Just really the month of October. I think maybe it's a challenging schedule all the way around when you think about it because you've got the Saints you're playing the Saints away on Monday Night Football, right? Well, that's on October the 5th. Then October the 11th, 6 days later, you're playing at home against the Ravens on Sunday Night Football, okay? Then you have to turn right back around and you have to play the Chicago Bears again, but you play them at home. So, and then you play the 49ers October 25th. So that part is hard, but I think really the toughest stretch of this schedule is going to be in November because you have to play at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on November 1st, the day after Halloween, because Halloween this year is on a Saturday.
Dad,
Yes.
They played the Panthers again.
Yep, they do. Now, the second time they play the Panthers is Week 18, and because it's in black, the game means it's away. So they're going to be playing in Charlotte at Bank of America Stadium. The first game is in Atlanta. But the toughest stretch of this schedule is, to me, obviously November because you play at Tampa Bay on November 1st. You have to go all the way to Spain, which is in Europe, to play November 8th, the very next game. Then you come back home, and who's waiting for you at home that you're playing against without a bye week, mind you? You know who's waiting for us at home, Harper, when we get back? The Kansas City Chiefs, for crying out loud. The Chiefs. And then, then we get a bye week. So that right there, to me, is the absolute toughest stretch of this schedule is having to play, you got the 49ers. Well, really, you look at October, November, it's brutal. You got, again, Saints away, Ravens home, Bears home, 49ers home, Bucks away, Bengals in Madrid, Chiefs at home, and then you got to turn around and play the Vikings in Minnesota too. So October, November, to me, Harper, it's the most important stretch of this season for the Falcons. They need to really play well in that stretch, but I think they have a really good chance of competing and maybe winning a championship. Now we're going to move on to the next topic. All right. So next, Avion Terrell, the brother of AJ Terrell. Of course, we know he was drafted by the Falcons in the second round. And Antonio Thompson, defensive tackle. Those are the last two Falcons who had not signed their contracts. They have now signed their rookie deals to come in with Atlanta. The terms were not disclosed, but the Falcons drafted Antonio Thompson in the sixth round of the draft, 208th pick overall. He's going to be on the defensive line trying to push his way through and knock down some of these quarterbacks and of the like, right? But yes, he was a player I'm pretty excited about because we need some help up front. You know, he's got guys like Deshaun Hand, Mason, and LaKale London also up there with him to kind of help, lead the way, pave the way for him. But then also, of course, Avion Terrell. What can be said that can't be? What is something that hasn't already been said about him? Of course, we got the pedigree of it with him being the brother of AJ, playing at Clemson, being a standout there. He said he's the best athlete in the family. He said he can do 360 windmill dunks. I mean, so again, we're talking about a pure athlete in Avion Terrell, someone that I'm excited to see in the red and black. But again, he is. He's locked in now for the duration of that rookie deal. So it's a good thing to have that. Harper, Avion Terrell and AJ Terrell are brothers. They both play for the Falcons now. Have you ever heard of two brothers being on the same team? Or matter of fact, you know what? You can talk to that about that because you just had two brothers on the same soccer team, didn't you? Yep. On your soccer team? Did you just have wasn't there brothers on the team? Twins?
Which ones?
The twins, the boys, brothers.
Which one?
Asa and Adonis. Never mind. She doesn't want to talk right now. She's just trying to listen. So Harper knows a little bit about having family on the team because she had two sets of brothers. Well, a set of brothers on her soccer team. So, but do you think if you have family on the same team with you, right? Do you think you would work better together or worse together? Better? Okay. It's very possible. Maybe they'll work really well together because they both play cornerback. They both grew up in the same family. They both went to the same high school. They both went to the same college. And now they're on the same professional football team together. So I think, honestly, it could really be a good shot in the arm for the Falcons defense because now you've got some chemistry there between brothers that you would normally not see with two guys who just met each other. Like, imagine if you and your sister, Harper, were on the same team. Do you think you and Alyssa would work good together or bad together? Because she knows you and you know her.
We would work better because 5 people are better than one.
Yeah, well, I mean, when we're talking about teamwork and all that stuff, teamwork does make the dream work. But, family seems like they sometimes work better with each other because they know each other already. It's a little bit easier than getting to know somebody who you just met. But people can meet and work together really well and have a relationship where they're like siblings. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you have friends in your life that are like brothers and sisters, like your best friends at school are kind of like family to you sometimes. So, but again, the entire rookie class now has been signed, so everyone is ink. Everybody's ink is dry. The contracts are good to go, and now it's onward and upward for this rookie class. So, last and not least, we're going to move on, Harper, and we're going to talk about Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is a wide receiver who was playing for the New England Patriots. He is now a free agent, and Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated said that he thinks that Stephon Diggs in Atlanta would be an interesting fit for us. So here's the exact quote that we got from Albert Breer on Stephon Diggs. He said, quote, "I think Diggs will probably be somewhere in that 1 year, $10 million range. The Chiefs could make sense. The Commanders might too, since Diggs is from DC. The Falcons and Rams would also be interesting landing spots. Now, Stephon Diggs, last season, had a pretty darn good year. You know, he had over 1,000 yards receiving. He scored, I believe, 8 touchdowns as well. So um, you absolutely can use production like that across from Drake London, because last year, Harper, we had Drake London, we had Kyle Pitts, we had Bijan Robinson, and really no. I mean, there was outside of Drake London, no wide receivers were really catching passes. But last year, Stephon Diggs, 85 catches, 1,013 yards. I got the touchdowns wrong. He had 4 touchdowns out of 8. Um, but again, he averaged about 12 yards a catch. That's the kind of production we can use. But he is 32 years old. You know, the man continues to produce everywhere he goes. If you scratch out his 2024 season right here, where he got injured, he's had a string of 1,000-yard seasons that goes all the way back to 2018. All he knows is ball. All he knows is producing. And I think the Falcons, it'd be, I don't know if they want to throw that kind of money at him. $10 million, Harper. That's a lot of money for one guy, right? To give him one to be the number 2 receiver. I don't know if the Falcons will want to pay that for someone who's probably not going to be in their future plans. So I think the Falcons will be much better off not moving on to Stephon Diggs. I know we've kind of talked about him in the past, but I think it would be well, I mean, if you can get him for $5 million, do it, but not for $10 million. Absolutely not. I'll take Stephon Diggs for $7 million, but not 10. No. So, again, when it comes to the production, we need more production from the wide receiver room. It can't just be Drake London this year. I mean, that's why we brought in Jahan Dotson. That's why we brought in Olamide Zaccheaus to help out with this production and to help free up the offense and get guys like Bijan Robinson going who can run the football, to get guys like Kyle Pitts the ball who can catch it and run and knock down some of these linebackers in coverage. So for me, it's a yes on Stephon Diggs for the right amount of money on a 1-year deal, but nothing really past that. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on and call it a day. But for all those of you who didn't see the schedule, here it is. We'll break it down for you one more time. So there it is right in front of you. Week 1, we're going to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. It's a 1:00 game at home. Second week. Week 2, September 20th, at home for the Panthers. Week 3 on the road on Thursday Night Football. Again, a short turnaround against the Green Bay Packers. Next, we get a little bit of a mini bye. We get to take on the New Orleans Saints on Monday Night Football on October the 5th. October the 11th, Sunday Night Football. Falcons host the Ravens. A week later, back in Atlanta still. It's the first of a 3-game home stretch. Our second of a 3-game home stretch on October 18th against the Bears, and the 25th at home against the 49ers. Technically 2 straight road games after that, because you've got the Bucs on November 1st away, and then you're traveling to Madrid to play against the Bengals. It's essentially an away game, but you are the designated home team out there. So November 15th, you get the Kansas City Chiefs. That game will take place in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That is a 1:00 kickoff. Then again, you get week 11 off, so you get a long break. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Come back and play the 29th at the Minnesota Vikings. Then December 6th, you're hosting the Detroit Lions at home at 1:00. December 13th, we're taking on the Cleveland Browns, a game which could be very cold and snowy. Then also December 20th, the very next week, we're going to play against the Washington Commanders in another game that could be cold and snowy. 2 home games back-to-back after that. Against the Buccaneers at home, a TBD date, and then the Saints January 3rd. That's our last home game of the season. January 3rd, week 17, 1:00, and then the Panthers in Charlotte. Don't know when that game will be, but it will be week 18, and that is that. So we're gonna go ahead and call it good. We're gonna get ourselves ready for work and school, and we're going to say, have a fantastic weekend. This is CG Craig Green. This is my lovely, beautiful daughter, Harper. And we will see you next time. Harper, break it down for everybody. Remember what to say? You don't remember? All right, here's how we end every show. This is CG Craig Green. This is Harper Green. This is Falcons Daily, episode number 296. Sayonara and buenos noches.